Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mary's Creative Decor. This week, I'm celebrating my birthday. On February 6th, I turned 62 years old. Take a look at our project for today. On today, I'll be restyling this table. As you can see, the table bottom is pretty nice, and I will be repainting it in black, but it's very dirty. So we're gonna wash it down first, repaint it black. And if you're looking at the top of the table is pretty beat up. Now, yes, it's dusty, but it also has lots of water damage. So I won't be able to refinish this wood. So since I can't refinish it, I'll be also painting the top of the table in black and doing a marble effect on it. Something I have not tried before, but we're gonna try it together. So let's get started. I'm gonna first start by getting some soapy water, and we're gonna wash this table down. I'm using Dawn dish soap today because it does cut through grease. I'm using the Dawn dish soap because I want to make sure I get all of those greasy handprints that's left on my piece. Once I'm done washing, I will rinse the piece. Now it's time to rinse off all the soap residue with warm, clear water. Once I'm done rinsing my furniture, it's time to use my 220 grit sand block to sand the surface of the piece so that it'll be easy for my paint to adhere. Now that my sanding is done, it's time to wipe down the table to make sure that it's free of all dust and debris. Now, you can see my table is a little bit wobbly. So, I'm going to flip it over and see if I can tighten up the screws that's in the bottom. I'll be using my Allen wrench to do this. Now it's time for the next step. I have my table upside down because we're ready for paint. Today I'll be using Diamond Hard paint. Now this paint is an all-purpose paint and it looks blue, but it goes on black. So we're not going to waste any time. I'm going to use my short-handled angle brush to start painting my piece. I have used this paint before on a dresser and a nightstand, and I will leave the link to that video in the description box. Now, if you've noticed, I am using very little paint on my brush, and this is because I don't want any drips and pooling. I do want the legs of my table or the bottom of my table to be very smooth without any drips or paint pooling. Now I'm about done with my first coat. I'm just checking for drips, and I'll place my brush in this sandwich bag to keep it from drying out. And I'll be back in about an hour so we can apply our second coat. It's been about 2 hours and I'm ready to add my second coat of paint to my table. I'll start on the top, going around the sides of the table with my brush. I'm also going to add the black paint to the top of my table. I'll be using long strokes to make sure that my paint goes on smooth. And here's a quick look at what my first coat looks like on the top of the table. For my third coat of paint, I will be using a roller. I prepared my paint and added it to a tray, and now I'm just going to use this high density roller to roll the top and also the legs of my table so I will have a smooth finish. Now that my third coat is added, my tabletop is smooth, and now I want to start on my marble effect. I'll be using acrylic paint. I have white, 2 shades of gray, and a gold. I have a chip brush as well as a sponge. I'm adding my paint to a plate, and then I'll begin to apply it to the tabletop. Now that I've applied the white paint, I want to take my chip brush and spread out the lines, or just tap the lines to give it a more broken effect. Then I'll just take the tip of my brush and I'll add in some of the gray paint as well as some of the gold. Once I have my desired look, I'm going to set it aside and let it dry for about half an hour, and we'll come back. My table is dry and I am not happy with my marble effect, so I'm going to try something different. I have some pre-mixed flood with black metallic paint. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the flood and also mix in some of the diamond hard paint with the flood. Shake it up and apply it to the table. I've already added some that was already mixed, and I'm just pre-mixing a little bit more so that it would be a little bit more looser for the tabletop. I use the glove to start the process of spreading out the flood. Once I've used the glove, I'll go to this tool. It's like a spatula, and I will spread it out even a little bit more smoother, and this will allow it to level out smooth. Once I have my flood spread it out, I'm going to mix epoxy part A and B. I'm going to mix it and add some white acrylic paint to it for my veining. For mixing your epoxy, you want to follow the instructions before you add the paint to the epoxy mix. Making sure that you mix your epoxy and your paint really well. Then I'm applying it to the top of my table. I am just pouring it out in different areas on the table. Now that I have all of my white epoxy mix poured on the table, I'm going to clean that same tool and I'm going to spread the white paint into the black flood. And this will give me the look that I desire for my tabletop. Now the black is a little bit overpowering, so I'm just taking my white acrylic paint and spreading it out to make more veining. I'll do the same thing with my gray paint. Now I'm going to use my hair dryer to help with the movement and the flow of the epoxy mix. I'll use my hand to go around the circumference of the table to smooth out any of the epoxy that spilled over the sides. And here's a peek at the top of the table, what it's looking like. Now I just want to take my gold metallic paint with a small paintbrush, and I just want to draw some lines or accents in my epoxy as well. Once that is done, here's a look at what my table was looking like, and you can see where I added those gold accents. We're going to let this dry and we'll come back for the reveal. And here's the top of my table complete. I love the texture of it, but I'm not quite happy with how the resin and or flood mixture kind of yellowed in the middle. And I might go back and fix that later. But I love the texture of it. It's smooth, but yet not so smooth. It looked like the stone is unhoned. And here I've used my table as a small accent table beside the chair. I decorated it with a few of my favorite books. And of course, these are the roses I just got for my birthday. My birthday was on yesterday. I made 62, and that is a blessing. I thank God for 62 years. He has blessed and kept me, and I am just so grateful. To all of you all out there, I'm growing my channel, so if you haven't done so, it's time to hit that subscribe button. Share this video with your friends and your family. Don't forget the notification bell so you'll be aware of all my upcoming videos. I want to say to you all, thank you for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.